committee of the Senate and other relevant committee were asked to interface with the executive, and that interfacing started by 3 p.m. yesterday. So it's not a case of just approving 850 billion. No, it is to say that the 850 billion already approved can now be sourced from the domestic capital market.
It's commonsensical that one would think about borrowing at this moment because there's a revenue shortage, and world over, the world is entering into recession. So it's understandable that you will need to augment what you have, which is there's a shortage. But as an institution that is saddled with oversight, do you have fears about the burden of debt that we have, especially the rate at which it has grown in the last 5 years? And as the Senate, in his wisdom, learned any lesson for the nation at this critical time?
I think rather than talk about debt as a burden, debt is known actually to be a creative way of financing in every sector, both private sector and also the public sector. And it's a recognized mode of financing projects timelessly, so that in the long run, the nation can take the benefit of that lending. So rather than to even talk about debt burden itself, already give a connotation as if raising finance by way of debt has something negative to it. Rather, there's nothing negative about it. The critical issues that the Nigerian Senate looked into is what are the projects for which this debt financing is to be used for. And specifically, when you look at the hearing at the Senate and also the relevant document provided by the executive, each of the components of the borrowing is tied to particularly strategic project that would have a long-term effect positively in our national economy. And of course, you know that there is time value of money. If the country is expected to get revenue to be able to finance all these important strategic national economic projects by way of direct funding from what is raised in terms of the direct revenue, then I think we may just sign off that there will not be progress in this country. All nations of the world that are developed, they have developed on the basis of creatively borrowing and creatively using those money. So the issue should be, how do we ensure transparency and that the National Assembly exercising its oversight function to ensure that the borrowings and the expenditure is tailored towards what is strategic, what will bring long-term development to our society, and ensure that there is no corruption in the application of those loans. There is nothing inherently wrong in raising financing by way of debt. In fact, it may be positive in the sense that it would allow the nation to have critical needed infrastructure to galvanize, motivate its economy, and ensure that there is overall human development of our people. So the idea of debt burden, I wouldn't see it. I would rather see it from the perspective that it is necessary at this critical point in time to work on certain critical aspects of our infrastructural development with a view to preparing for the population explosion that is expected in our country, and to ensure that